Hello, and welcome to another episode of Big Brown and Hairy. I think it's episode 23. How have we managed that, eh? All the way to 23. I am Bobby Rayman, and this is...
I am Tuffy.
And my phone just went off. Apologies. Look at that amateur hour already within seconds of this wonderful, wonderful podcast. Should we start off the podcast with something light-hearted? There's been so much crap in the news.
Should we try and find something light-hearted? Light-hearted. Good luck with that.
Something light-hearted.
Good luck with that.
What would you like? Would you like a still image? Or would you like a video? What would you like?
Let's go video. Let's go full balls.
I'm going to choose something.
Let's go full balls.
I'm going to say, okay, so this is a retro video that went out in the UK as an advertisement for Walker's Crisps. Now, tell me if this would work these days. You ready?
Okay.
Are you ready for this shit?
Are
you ready?
Well, you can take me and my turkey
no sound.
Kathmandu.
No! Where's the sound?
Eat my vindaloo.
No!
See walkers on my fingers and thumbs, so get your guns.
And Walker's did in 1988, a year before I was born. Indian Elvis.
Well, go ahead, punk a wall and make them my day.
I can't believe it.
Two tasty flavors will blow you away. They rattle and roll all over your tongue, so get
you
your
had
guns.
one job.
I don't know why the sound isn't playing.
I sort of loosely remember something like that. I would have been, 88. I'd have been about 10.
I'll play the sound now.
10, 11. So I sort of loosely remember something like that. Yeah, I remember the song. I seem to remember the song, but yeah, that shit wouldn't slide now, really. that shit really wouldn't slide now. I remember the
the best thing I've ever seen.
I remember the music very much so.
That truly is one of the best things I've ever seen. The year before I was born, I've never seen that advert until now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Walker's Crisp. Gary Lineker, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Take your turban to Kathmandu. Kathmandu?
Kathmandu's
it's not even in India.
Yeah, it's in Nepal. Turbans,
and they've got no Sikhs in Nepal.
Yeah, turbans.
Well, they might do, but it could be a
Sikhs, Punjabi people. They're in the Punjab.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's in the north of India, but it's not Nepal.
Nepal's near Bangladesh, right? So that's going to be more of a...
Yeah, it's just sort of north of...
yes.
North of India and Bangladesh.
And Burma's next to it, isn't it? Am I right?
Burma, or Myanmar,
Myanmar.
is next to Bangladesh.
Sorry, I went old school then. Am I going to get burnt at the stake?
I think Burma is the British name for...
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
A bit like Mumbai,
Well,
Bombay.
I have some xenophobic comments back for that Walker's advert. I can't believe I saw that on TikTok and I had to share it. That is one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, you know what, you hear it. I hear and see it every day. When people say that that this country, when they sort of desperately claim that this country doesn't have an issue with ingrained racism.
Yeah.
And then things like that come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. I found it funny.
I mean, it's funny. Yeah, it is funny to, but it's funny in the sense that it's, for me, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it's funny in the sense that it's
so outrageous.
It's outrageous and tragic.
It's not actually funny.
Yeah.
That's what I'm, let's get correct that.
It's tragically
not actually
funny.
It's just like, oh my God, you're so uneducated that you're trying to be funny. You're not, that's the thing that I hate about like race humor. There's a certain thing, race humor can be hilarious when people are treading on eggshells. Like this. I'm finding it funny because it's
awkward.
Unbelievably not what it's supposed to be. But when when they're trying to be funny, what they're trying to achieve is ha ha ha, point and laugh funny. Oh, they're Indian. Ha 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 ha, funny hat man.
Yeah,
that's what, and I find that funny because they think that's funny.
Yes,
that makes sense.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
I find that irony and walking on eggshells hilarious. That's the humor in race for me.
Yeah,
that is just Mrs. Brown's Boys essentially humour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
And
cool.
you know what? Let's not forget that it's an advert.
Yes,
It's a television advert, and the purpose of that is to get people to buy
Papa Don Chris
from
a man that owns a corner shop.
Yeah, that's the purpose of it. So if and adverts are made to to attract people. So they obviously know that sort of thing. Potentially attracts buyers.
Well, hopefully we've come a long way since those.
I really hope so. I mean, that's just
what a gem I found on TikTok. For our,
I tell you what, going to school in the 80s with that sort of shit flying around.
Yeah.
God, I remember, sitting in assembly at the start of school, and when you sing your hymns and all that horse shit.
Sing Hosanna is a banger. Don't even go there. Sing Hosanna is a banger to the King of Kings. What a banger!
One of the hymns was, I don't know if you've ever one of the words. What was it? The ink is black, the page is white. Together we learn to read and write. To read and write.
Got the whole wheels in his hands. That's another bop.
Yeah.
What a banger.
That's not bad.
There's those two. That's it.
This particular hymn, that was one of the lines, but one of the other lines was, a child is black, a child is white. Together we learn to read and write, to read and write. Now, as soon as those words, a child is black, a child is white, every child in that hall turned round and looked directly at me.
You're not even black.
And looked directly at me. Every single one.
You're not even black. You're the closest thing to black I can see. From Cannock. I'm assuming you grew up.
Yeah, yes.
Closest thing. We're in the black country nearly.
Cannock, what a fucking dog shit of a town.
Hey, don't diss Dan Collymore. I've already slagged him off once on this podcast.
I'm not. No, Stan Collymore accepted because I'm a Liverpool supporter and he scored some crackers for us.
Yeah, he also hit Ulrika Johnson.
Yes.
And we all forget that.
Yes.
But anyway, I digress.
Yes. I'm also going to be trying to secure him as a client for one of our businesses.
No, not having it. Yeah. I've changed my mind. Not having it. Don't want him. That's why he's on TalkSport.
But yeah, Cannock, old, working class mining town, absolutely chock full of BNP fuckers and National Front shaggers.
Do you remember when that... Do you remember when that...
I like that. National Front shaggers.
Do you reckon the you remember when the BNP had their addresses leaked? They got hacked.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? Now, at that time, I was dating... I wasn't dating. I was in a relationship with my ex-girlfriend, who was from Hensford, ironically.
Okay, yeah.
And one of her uncles was a member of BNP. And she told me about this years ago.
Yeah.
And we went to this family do. And obviously, being a mixed-race couple was already controversial. But, I don't know, it brought me... I had a chip on my shoulder. Once I heard he was BNP, I made a beeline for him. I couldn't give a shit. So I went up to him, I'm a proper Del boy. Right there, I can't remember his name. Right there. And he just happened... He couldn't not like me because I'm overly nice.
Yeah.
What can he say about me? Nothing. But I addressed it and killed the situation for him.
Yeah.
And then he started talking to me after, I'm like, but then what's your problem with the BNP? It just shows what the BNP is about.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's all of a sudden people who are different to them. And that's it. Yeah. They're only acceptable.
I only like my chips and eggs and beans every day. And it's a sausage, and that's all I'm having. Too much flavour for me. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
with too much flavour. It hurts my eyes.
Anything that is remotely different to them, they feel threatened by it.
I know what I like. There you go. And I'm going to stick to it.
Exactly.
Don't want to broaden the mind. Don't want to travel. Want to go in their caravan. Stay in their country. It's a very old school method of thinking. But yeah, it's all related.
There's a big wide world out there, people.
Oh yes, it's not just based around Staffordshire or Stan Collymmore's dogging site.
Yeah, or the Doggingtree Estate. Or even Benyon Road. Benyon
Crew. I better not. I'll get battered by the skinheads. If you know, you know. Don't Google Benyon Crew. Bloody Chadsmore getting a mention in the podcast. Oh,
big up Chadsmore.
Yes. What have we got to talk about anyway in this podcast? I've got a random memes to show you.
Okay. I do like a good meme.
Yes, me too.
I do send you a few, don't I? I do like a good meme.
Yes, I can give you. Oh, well, I don't think the sound's working, but I'll give you the gist of this one.
Footballers who play with a disability.
This guy, he goes prayers up to Ronaldo.
Nacho Fernandez
players playing with disabilities. Nacho Fernandez playing with diabetes. The next one, this guy's going, Cristiano plays with Maguire. Right, that's the joke, right? Okay. He goes then, oh my God,
is that
Maguire, is that some sort of cancer? Oh my God, prayers up to Ronaldo. He's being serious.
Some type of like
I'm ashamed the sound isn't working because that was one of the best things I've ever seen. It's like, oh no, I didn't know Ronaldo played with cancer. Is that some kind of cancer?
Oh, so there is one person, at least one person in the world who has no idea who the legend that is Harry Maguire.
Talking of Harry Maguire, have you heard the latest crazy rumour that is not even really a rumour, it's been validated by one source.
Right.
Chelsea, after Rudiger are going to rebuild their defence because I think they might get rid of Thiago Silva as well. Which is crazy, in my opinion. Guess who they're going to get to rebuild?
Not Harry Maguire. Really?
Yeah.
A cut price Harry Maguire.
Get him. Take him. Please. But they need what they need. They haven't got a pacey... You need a pacey centre-back around him. Or two.
Get Harry Maguire and they still don't have a pacey centre-back.
I slag him off in a back four. But in a back five where Chelsea play 3 centre-backs, he's going to be amazing. And I'm going to say, why? Pace. He's got two other people to cover his back. At Leicester, when he played in a 5, he was great. England, when he played in a 5, he was great. Even for the tournament, where they played 3 at the back.
Yeah.
Or sometimes 4-4-2, but they had 2 in behind. He's got Kante. He's got someone, whoever.
Okay, so basically, he's got 4 guys around him.
Exactly. But that's when he's allowed, his flaws are covered by other people. Because they're supporting him. At United, they're all individuals. There's no team play. They're not helping him, are they?
Not really, no.
No.
Well, what? But then again, I mean,
it's a lot.
He's got to.
No, I agree. But even for England, it's a shit show, Man United. We all know it. Look, he played well when he came back from injury before the Euros, if you remember. He was indispensable to that Man United team when we finished 2nd place in the Premier League under Ollie.
I can't remember really.
Oh, no, I can. And then he got injured, and then he came back, and he was all right. And then something happened this year.
What happened this year?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going. And then his calamities.
The only guy who had his back.
Yeah.
Gone.
But it's a psychological thing, I think. I think he is good, but he just hasn't got pace. When he and people have found him out. If you run him behind, he's not gonna, do a last-ditch tackle. He's all about clearing the ball out of that area.
Yeah.
Now, for Chelsea, that's not a bad sign. And I sound crazy, and I'm going to get shit for this. But surrounded by other if there's 2 other centre-backs and Kante, or at least another centre-back and Kante and whoever plays the other position, Jorginho, possibly, or whoever, come on. He's going to be all right. And with the confidence of a decent team, ball-playing team, that's the concern. Chelsea play from the back. Maguire can't play from the back. He gets too nervy on the ball.
How old is Maguire now?
I'm going to say late 20s, 30. I don't know. I don't know how old Maguire is.
So Manchester United are going to potentially get rid of their captain.
I mean, you have to, don't you? I mean, they have to have a factory. He's on a lot of money. If they're going to have a reset with a new manager, you might as well get rid of all the egos. The only players who can hold their heads high are David De Gea and Ronaldo. That's it. Everyone else is on the chopping block.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
No, sorry. Oh no, the source I thought was decent isn't. Oh no.
Who is it?
It's Richard Keys.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say, is that Perez Hilton or someone like that?
Might as well be. He'll be like, oh, Perez Hilton, she's quite fit, isn't she? You shagged her, Jamie. Anyway, there's a reference there for you. Who's Andy Gray? What, Andy Gray coming up with a sauce there. Rashford to bloody Everton. No. Yeah, if that happens, I can see why they'd want him. Because in a 5, he's wicked. Because all he does is head the ball out in corners, attacking corners. He's great. Set pieces. He is a imposing figure in that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when
absolutely.
you go just shift the ball right or left with a pacey, smaller player, that's his problem. But if you've got Kante there and you've got other defenders to play as a team, as a unit, even United, if they played as a unit and actually understood their defensive roles, they'd be fine. But it's just a shit show. And he's been made a scapegoat, yes, but he's made some atrocious mistakes this year. Key mistake. When United have been 1-2-0 ahead, that first goal, and what it points to me, and I'm going back to it, is fitness. United are conceding too many goals in the second half. Or getting battered by fucking Brighton. I haven't even talked about that. Jesus Christ, Brighton! 4-0. That's just disgusting. I didn't even
Brighton are a handy team, you know.
Yeah.
Again, it's fitness levels. Graham Potter has got them well drilled.
United are just shit. Fitness. That's all it is. United used to be the best team because we were the fittest team. Now, who are the 2 best teams or 3 best teams in England? They're always playing that that pressing game. You have to be super fit for it.
Yep.
Liverpool known for it, Man City known for it, Chelsea known for it. Oh, lo and behold, they're the 3 that won the big championships this year. And last year, sorry. So annoying. It's so obvious.
Well,
as well.
you know, with your new manager incoming, Eric Ten Hag,
he plays that style.
Things should change.
But I hope
he's got a very tough pre-season. I think.
I hope he's allowed to bring the players that he wants to bring in and get rid of the players he wants to get rid of. I think having a Ronaldo there is handy. I think Ronaldo will do his work. De Gea is amazing.
Ronaldo.
The rest of the players, I think
Ronaldo, I think, should stay. I mean, I'd even go as far as to say that Ten Hag should maybe offer Ronaldo a dual role, maybe like a player, even like a player coach thing.
I don't think he will like coach though.
You don't think so?
No. I think he's going to do a Beckham. I think he's more about owning a team. I think he's that type. I don't think he wants, or he'll coach his kids. He's that type.
Right. Okay.
It's very difficult for Ronaldo to coach because of it's Ronaldo. It's like Thierry Henry finds it difficult to coach. Anyone with a big name like that. I'm not saying like a Steven Gerrard or a Lampard. I mean like a superstar level.
Yes. Yeah.
Except Wayne Rooney, maybe. He's doing an okay job.
Is he really a superstar though?
Oh, come on. Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
You and I have had this conversation before. I think he when he had the chance.
Everyone knows
when he had the chance to go to that next level, he didn't go, and I think he should have gone to like a Spanish team.
Let's look at his record: Premier Leagues, Champions
League,
everything. England leading.
There's no question that his record in Manchester United is exceptional.
Just get shit on because he looks like Shrek.
There's no question that his record at Manchester United is exceptional. However, that next level has always been Barcelona or Real Madrid.
I disagree.
It's always been that. Otherwise, Ronaldo would have stayed put at Manchester United.
It was his dream to play for Real Madrid in one point. That was his dream. That's why he went. But he still won the Champions. Like he's different. He went on earlier in his prime, didn't he? Mid 20s.
And what I'm saying to you, around that time as well, 2009, I think he left. Around that time, Rooney was also. He should have.
I strongly disagree. He won Champions League. He won what? He got to 3 Champions League.
But there's an argument to say that he also stagnated.
At the end, after Fergie left, yes. He shouldn't have stayed after Fergie left. He should have gone. When Moyes came in, he should have gone there. Because they had a falling out. If Ferguson stayed, Rooney probably would have moved on anyway, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So maybe after that period, yeah, okay, he should have gone on. But I still think his record and him being a star, I consider people being on front of, I know, stupid. I'm thinking about the image of them as well. Being on front of FIFA. He was on the front of FIFA. He was on Pepsi commercials like Beckham. You know, that global star. And he was a good player. I think he was there. Everyone knows Rooney. I could go to the deepest village in Bangladesh and they'll know Rooney.
No, they'll know Steven Gerrard. They'll absolutely.
They'll think who's that Villa lackey.
They'll absolutely know Steven Gerrard and probably even Frank Lampard too. But
I'm being harsh. Yeah. But no. I think Rooney was there. He was on the cusp. I think he really was. I really do. At one point, people forget he was unplayable when he went from the number 10 role to number 9. Where he was just banging in goals because before he was not in the pecking order, but he was being more of a supply to. But Ronaldo
that's what
and
I
Tevez.
mean. Maybe it would have been good for him to get a different challenge elsewhere.
Possibly, but I still think he was a star. I'm not having that. I'm not having it. I strongly disagree. That is outrageous.
You're a United supporter.
No, it's not even a United supporter. I'm looking at it from the outside.
I don't. There's going to be some clear bias there.
It's like saying Robbie Fowler was one of the best strikers ever. No, he wasn't. No. He was good. He was a great finisher. Probably one of the best finishers. I'll give him that. One of the best finishers. But his face. He's known more for
his face held him back.
He's known more for, I think more than that. I think he's known more for that one celebration of Coke than anything. That was a great, and let's take it far. I rate him for that celebration.
I think with Robbie Fowler.
Did he get a ban for that celebration?
Yeah. I think with Robbie Fowler, in terms of finishing, is probably one of the most natural finishes that the English game has ever produced. I
think Michael Owen's up there.
Yeah.
I think Van Nistelrooy's up there finishing
Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, I think he was a fantastic finisher.
Ruud Van Nistelrooy.
Even Solskjaer. Ian Wright.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, Ian Wright was more speed.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, I think
it's a good conversation. That best finishes.
Yeah. What I'm saying though is that, but players like Robbie Fowler and even Ian Wright, they were in an era when they were talked about. They should be playing more for England.
Yeah,
but the manager at that point didn't want to. They didn't want to take the risk of moving away from the likes of Alan Shearer and Teddy Sheringham at the time as well. Michael Owen. I
still don't understand how Ian Wright.
No, neither do I.
Unbelievable finisher. But you saw some of the control and technique and speed. What more do you want?
I mean, if I was Ian Wright, I'd feel absolutely robbed.
I feel like it's something.
I'd feel robbed of a really long England career.
You have to feel like something else is involved there, because it makes no sense at all.
But then Robbie Fowler also never got really a fair crack. And again, one of the finest.
What years were Robbie Fowler at? What years was?
When was he active?
Yeah.
He was sort of mid to late 90s.
So who were we talking about? Shearer though, wasn't it?
Shearer. That was always the problem. The likes of Alan, of course.
Andy Cole never really got a shot.
He never really got a fair crack either.
It's Teddy Sheringham, wasn't it?
Because of that partnership, the SAS partnership.
It worked against the Netherlands in '96, but they were both slow. You could have done with that pace going in behind. Ian Wright would have killed you in '96,
which is why they were used really more as impact players. If you remember, I don't know if you remember.
Early. I do remember him coming off the bench.
You were quite young back then, weren't you?
I remember Alan Shearer was disgustingly good. I mean, I remember him scoring one of my early memories of football was him scoring. I think it was a friendly or even a World Cup qualifier where he scored a lob from outrageous range at Wembley, old Wembley.
Okay.
I just remembered, who the hell's that? Just remembering.
A lob?
It was like a lob from my house. Yeah, it was a lob. I'll try and find the goal. I'll try and find the goal in the edit. But it was just at Wembley. I remember for England going, what the hell?
And when was this? Was this before?
I think '96.
Was it? So it was before France.
It was before France, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just incredible.
But you
remember those England strikers?
I can't remember Shearer scoring many lobs.
It was definitely him.
Because he was great on the volley.
I'll try and find it now. Oh yeah, he scored that great goal against Everton. Now you've done it. Shearer volley, England. Not volley. What was I say? Lob.
I don't remember him scoring many
he
lobs.
Definitely scored a lob. Definitely. What comes? Are Shearer and Sutton friends?
That's a no, isn't it?
Oh, I'll put it in post. I'm sure.
Okay.
I know he definitely did. I think it was in the. Was it in the grey kit? No, it wasn't the grey kit. I can't remember. But it was a great goal. But it never gets. It's not one of his like.
Right.
Okay. He scored some bangers.
Yes.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
he did. Yeah.
But anyway, England had some great strikers that they didn't utilise. Robbie Fowler was a great finisher. Ian Wright, Jesus
Robbie
Christ.
Fowler, Ian Wright, Andy Cole. We were blessed with some wonderful strikers at that point, and there would be teams around the world, countries around the world, who'd be crying out for players like that.
Madness, isn't it, when you think about it? I'm trying to think who else was there at that time. You had Matt Letizia. What the hell? Even though he's controversial in his opinions nowadays, but back in the day, you ask any Spanish player. Xavi, Iniesta, all of those players, they always say they used to watch the Premier League highlights in Spain and wait for Matt Letizia because every week he'd score something outrageous. And I think, I saw some YouTubers say this, when you're bored, just type in Matt Letizia goals. You'll be happy for an hour. I mean, when you're bored and you've got nothing to do, go and search that on YouTube. He scored some outrageous goals.
He did, didn't he?
How the hell... Didn't he play for England more often?
I think that he should have done, and I personally think he was his own worst enemy. So I think staying at Southampton all his career, I think that hampered him. I think
because they weren't playing Champions League.
I think he needed to be tested. I think for a player of his talent, I think talking from like a professional footballer's point of view. A player of his talent, it's easy to look like a superstar in a mediocre Southampton team. You're the man.
True, but he did it against tough opposition in the Premier League.
Without question, yeah, absolutely. But psychologically, when you know that you're the man there...
you mean like he wasn't sharing the load, so he was just... Everything was going through him. A bit like Grealish at Aston Villa.
Yeah.
He's finding it
and
tough at Man City.
He really should have gone somewhere where he'd have been properly tested. And I think that's the reason why he didn't play for England all that much, because there was a concern that at Southampton, he's like, it's like putting a superstar in a mediocre team. You're always going to look fantastic.
But I think it's also a managerial problem. That I think if you took a freeze frame of that time and had it during this time, he would make that team no problem.
You're right. I think also English managers have always been reluctant to pick flair players, haven't they?
Oh yeah. Don't know why.
They like their meat and two veg, and
you need flair to
graft.
Win. Look at that Italian team. They were great, organised, but then they had flair on the left hand side. They had flair up front.
Which is why I'll always argue that the current England manager, Mr. Southgate, should. I think he really should. Pick Jack Grealish more often. I'd even go as far as to say that maybe, or even Phil Foden, and build the team around.
I think Foden's had a better season than Grealish. I think Grealish. I think he will.
I think the price tag is a bit of a noose around his neck.
I think he's not used to the play, but I think next season he could be decent. I think he just needs time to settle into the Pep's way. Fitness is a thing. Like, I'm sorry, Aston Villa, your fitness is not going to be as near what Man City's system is. So maybe fitness is a thing. But when he does fit in that system,
when he clicks, he's
going to be outstanding. Now, watch this irony. Now, I bet you Southgate starts Grealish instead of Foden because Southgate's just a twat. Watch, because he just likes doing the opposite to what... Yeah, I'm the manager. I'm going to do what I want to do. Is that type.
Yeah,
do you see what I mean?
Certainly through the European Championships last year, I made a case, made quite a, that maybe they even should, look to build the team around Jack Grealish. I really thought that because...
I think they could have done because he was really on form.
You've got to roll the dice, particularly in international games. You see other teams. There's always that sort of fear that you might not, in a knockout game, you're not going to get that stuff. But you've got to give it a go.
I think in England we'd rather try and lose than and lose. See what I mean? Like, even though Euro '96 is held in high regard, Italian '90. we're still proud of them because they tried. Bobby Robson rolled the dice. Terry Venables rolled the dice. Southgate just is a bit in when the managers win the game. You know what they're paid for.
Yeah,
is those tight games where they make a managerial decision to improve the team, or say something, or make a substitution to change the game. You see Klopp do it. You see Pep do it in domestic games. It's no different in an international game. Managers have to see, okay, that opportunity's there. Let's swap him for him.
I think
he did it before the games. You know, Saka, that was inspiring. Yeah. I'll give him that credit.
You know what I think? I think in many ways, you know, what's happening with the England team reflects a lot in terms of what happens in society in this country. I think we are, as a society, I genuinely think that we're happy with mediocrity. Honestly, and I think that's the big reason why even now England supporters still sort of, you know, they can't shut up about 1966. Even now, if you let me finish, even now they talk about, you know, it's all over the internet, all over, you know, videos all over Facebook and whatever. Even now they talk about that 5-1 thrashing of Germany in Munich and the 4-1 thrashing of the Netherlands in Euro 96. They forget that 5-1 thrashing of Germany, fantastic game, but that was a qualifier for the 2002 World Cup. Where did Germany end up in that World Cup, and where did England end up? Yeah.
No, but like
quarterfinals for England.
I think that's a pessimistic view.
I don't know. I
think I don't think it's a problem highlighting or reminiscing about glorious moments. I think we should celebrate those moments. They won something. They've got to grasp onto something, or else.
But how long do you celebrate it?
Oh no! I think it has to be celebrated until the next historic moment is made. I think that's a. No,
I'm sorry.
I'm not taking
that. I'm sorry. You can kick the arse out of something for too long, and it just becomes ingrained in your it just becomes ingrained in your mind after that, because you don't look forward.
You must be so unhappy.
Listen, I'm joking. Listen, I think they were fantastic achievements.
I see what you mean.
But we have to look forward.
Yeah, mentality. Yeah. I see what you're trying. Yeah, I get it. Like mentality from other countries.
Yeah,
they don't reminisce on stuff. They think about winning rather than going, "Oh, remember when we did that?" Rather than going, "Okay, let's see what we can do now." Whereas
absolutely,
England is too bothered about reminiscing.
How often? I
see what you mean.
How often have you come across a die-hard England supporter who still sings that song 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup?
Oh yeah.
How often?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Bloody
hell,
true. It's and yet we're since the World War II, because they like to sing that song. Let's count how many World Cups Germany have won and how many England have won.
Yeah. Well, it's a mentality
and
it's
not as though we've been short of good world-class players, because we have.
Yeah.
We've had them.
I mean, yeah, look at the 2006 period. That was outrageous. But it was the manager. You got to say. But anyway, we've talked a lot about football. I've got bored.
There's one more thing. Actually, just before I read something very interesting yet surreal at the same in equal measure yesterday. Apparently, an England international.
Oh! Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I know what you're going to say. Are you ready? I had it ready.
Yes.
I knew what you were going to say. Do you know how I knew you were going to say it? Because it was on LBC, and I know you're a fan of LBC, and I saw it and I screenshotted it. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this.
I couldn't believe
that was a nice segue, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because now people are going to be speculating. Who the fuck is this guy? Who is it?
Okay, we could get into trouble talking about this, but let's highlight this. Pure speculation, and we're not saying this is the person, but if you were to say... which England footballer would it be? So when you say England footballer, it has to be someone from the last tournament, sure.
I would presume so, guess. Yes.
Out of all of them,
And we've got to think about who didn't have a spring in his step.
Maguire.
Who looked like his energy levels were.
That's
a bit
why he's
down.
called John Stones.
Who looked like his energy levels were a bit. You know what they say. On the eve of a big fight, you don't get your tackle out. On the eve of a big fight for boxers, that was part of their training regime.
That's why he's called Marcus Rashford. That's where he got it from.
That's part of their training regime, isn't it, for big fighters?
If it's Rashford. Imagine.
But I don't want to. I don't want to speculate. But there are going to be people. People are going to be out there now thinking, "Who the hell is it?"
It's 30k. I'd go for more. That's worth at least $3 million. 30k, is that it? Whoever the escort is, you are worth it, girl, my guy, whatever we want to be called, Day. You are worth it. You need to up your price.
Yeah, up your game.
30k for a blackmail is not enough.
But I think it was on repeated occasions, wasn't it? I think.
30.
I haven't read the article.
When I saw this, I was.
Well, I was surprised that because of your.
I don't know who it is.
But in your line of work that you do, and the people who you sort of not mix with, but on the floor below you,
yes,
so to speak. I'm not going to say who, but
yes,
I would have thought that they would have caught wind of it. No.
Maybe
unless it's been
caught wind up a dress.
It's been hushed. But yeah, I'd agree with whoever the escort is. She lowballed herself, really. Or
it could be a girl to a guy. We don't know. Transsexual goes both ways.
True.
So I'll say
true,
for now. I think that's the fair way to say.
I'm sure that article did mention that it was.
Oh, did it? I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline.
I'm sure it did say that it was a pre-op male to female.
Oh no! It's not Calvert-Lewin, is it? Because he dressed up as a like. Out there.
I don't
That's
know.
pure speculation. I don't know anything. I'm just thinking who could be, because he did a little is it Esquire or one of those, and he dressed up as like a girl.
Well, the article did mention that the club that the player plays for, they're quite worried about his off the field, how he leads his life off the field. They're quite concerned about it.
I mean, if it's Everton, they've got enough already. Already one to deal with.
They've got bigger fish to fry, I think.
In Iceland, that joke works on many levels. Kerry Katona, eh? You should have stuck to her.
And I'll still say, if they go down, I'm going to be.
I don't want to know if they go down.
If they get relegated.
Excuse me.
if they get relegated, as a Liverpool supporter,
you'd be delighted.
It's it's the greatest piece of comedy the Premier League could have ever dished up.
Oh yes. Should we stick to some football memes? And I was going to change it, but screw it as we've gone into it. Do you know Arturo Vidal?
The Chilean.
Yeah. So when you think of him, what do you think?
When I think Mohican.
Yeah.
Hard tackling.
Yeah.
Mouthy.
Tough guy.
Gritty.
Tough guy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what you think of him. That's what we all think of him, right? This is Vidal. On his TikTok. Weird guy, weird guy.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to see that he has a bit of a
weird guy, Vidal.
It's nice to see that he has a bit of a sense of humour, a bit of personality. That's nice to see.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see if he tries out that crying filter that TikTok has come out with recently.
Oh yes, it's quite good. That's really quite good. The last of the videos that have got no sound, but this is off another podcast. I think it's called the Offside Podcast or something. I'll shout them out in a second. But they've highlighted, the footballer Hulk. He's a bit of a meme. Have you heard about what he has been up to in his extracurricular activity?
I can only imagine what it could be.
I'll show you the video.
Has he been samboing the night away with?
Right, are you ready for this?
With a pre-op transsexual.
This is it's worse than that. So he's
worse.
He's married for 10 years.
Right.
Married for 10 years. had kids, lovely wife.
Yep.
Then cheats on his wife. Well, footballers do this. With her niece, and has a baby with her. Here's the video from that other podcast.
Talk about keeping it in the family.
It's from
July
the
2019.
Born Offside podcast. Shout out to you guys.
She was older than him.
Rose,
I'm not
can you not do that
excusing
knee
it,
movement, though, when
but
you
she
left
was
his wife for 12 years.
older than him.
Okay, left
So
his
He
wife.
straighted up.
And he had kids with her.
He had 3 kids with her.
3 kids with her. Left.
And this would be
Right.
great if we
He
could actually
then
hear.
entered
I
a
know, I
relationship
mean,
with
I've just
her
shouted them
niece.
out, but there
So
you go.
his
There you go.
wife's
There's the
niece.
proof that where I've got it from anyway. I wish I had the sound working, I apologise, but it is shoddy productions. Have we got any more football memes? I've got some stills here.
So let me just get this
Oh,
straight.
yeah, sorry, I wasn't glossing over that.
He had an affair with her niece.
Her niece, so it's not incest.
Okay.
I suppose.
So
It is
her either her brother's or her sister's
kid.
kid.
And then had a kid with that. He is incredible.
I'm just thinking about how
So
know,
that's
within
that's how he got his skin green.
I'm just thinking within my own family.
Oh no, you
How-
don't.
how would
no. Don't.
And that's what I mean. It's
No!
it's sick. It is sick.
That's disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hulk, you fucking legend.
Yeah. That's yeah.
I love it. Let's move on before we get to. There's a player for Paris Saint-Germain called Marcelo.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Not Marcelo from Real Madrid. Marcelo for Paris Saint-Germain. I will just let you read this. Marcelo was permanently removed from the Lyon squad for farting in the locker room and laughing about it with his teammates. Juninho, who did not like him, decided to take the opportunity to remind him of his poor performances on the pitch and fired him. Because he farted.
Bloody hell! There's not.
I've got some great memes.
There's no politics going on in that dressing room, is there? Bloody hell!
No.
Who didn't like him anyway decided to use the opportunistically and to fire him.
Yes. I mean,
Just because he.
What a wonderful story.
Just because of a bit of flatulence.
I mean,
There's no politics at all
No,
going on
Genius
that
wants to get rid of
dressing room. Yeah. He's
but
looking for an opportunity.
fabulous. That was a fabulous story. The last football story, before I promise the last football story, I think the biggest story that we haven't really mentioned are Man City's transfer activities. And me crying.
Yeah.
How can you not think this guy wasn't going to go to Man City with his dad's kit on?
Mm.
I mean, looking a bit predatory there. All we need now to complete this matrix of time and movement, all we need is Roy Keane's child, so we in Man United squad, to break his legs.
I wonder if after he moves to Manchester City,
for 62 million.
I mean that's a
They had
cut
that clause,
price.
but he
yeah.
had that clause to put into Borussia, going, look, if you want me, I'll come to you for a short time, but I have to have this clause. Smart from all sides.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's worth 200.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
What is it? 3 seasons he's now been there, or something? 3 or 4 seasons, I think.
3.
So it fills that gap, doesn't it? It allows him to develop,
and they get a Champions League out of him.
Yeah. So it was always going to be the case that he's there for a short term. He's there and he's gone, sort of thing.
But now my fear is Bellingham will go to Man City.
No.
He's not getting Liverpool. I guarantee you. You've got no space.
Let's see what happens.
Unless you get rid of Naby Keita and Fabinho.
Let's see what happens.
I guarantee you.
Let's see what happens. I mean, Naby Keita. If we were to have him instead of Naby Keita, I wouldn't be.
Oh, there could be. There's a possibility of Keita's played in the German league. There could be a
Like a little swap.
deal plus money. Could be. I don't think you'd want to go to Liverpool though. Why would you want to go to Liverpool?
Fuck off.
Why would you want to go to that shithole?
Yeah, he could always go to the dream that is Manchester United.
Theatre of dreams. Let's get that right. Can you
Theatre
mark
of
my
dreams.
words? 2 years from now.
Theatre of dreams. Theatre of right,
2 years
okay.
from now.
Okay.
We'll still be in the same position. 10 years from now, that's a different story. But 2 years from now, if Ten Hag is allowed to actually manage because it's going to be awful. It's going to be awful. But positives, tickets are going to be available quite readily.
Watch this space. Your biggest problem, the biggest problem at Manchester United is that, and when that decision was made to float the club on the stock market, that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, because they're just taking.
That's the biggest issue, because you now have people who have bought up the majority of shares. Yeah, it's always going to be people who are in it for the money. As soon as you float something on the stock market,
look, they've taken money out and they haven't put anything back in, and it's just been.
On one hand, yes, you get almost unlimited amount of riches. Yeah, but then you don't have football people
running the team. Yeah.
Football clubs, sports clubs in general, I don't think should ever.
That's why I think a managing director is important. Not a sporting director is important in that role. Man United just haven't got that. Yeah. Powerful, not powerful. That what's the word? Respected individual in that role. You have to be someone who is the club. Yeah. And for some reason, we would have had Ryan Giggs in that role. What happened there?
There's an argument that Manchester United isn't really a sporting institution anymore.
No, it's more of a brand. And it is a great brand. And
you have almost zero chance of getting rid of the Glazers. That's the biggest tragedy.
Unless an offer is put in that is astronomical, which could happen. If we're looking at Chelsea going for 4 billion, well, whatever it is, 4 billion.
Yeah. I mean, what percentage of the shares do they own, the Glazer family?
I have no idea. I can find out. Glazer percentage at United.
The other thing that could happen, of course, if the remaining percentage is high enough. One individual.
16.62. Oh no.
No, they've got to have a big enough shareholding to be able to
75%.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they can fill up the board with.
But I think
you need someone. You need one individual taking up that 25% of shares and being a real thorn in their sides.
Yeah. I think that could possibly happen at some point, but not in the foreseeable.
Or
I think pressure's going to build up. The pressure's building up, though.
Or the other thing that could possibly oust them is if some sort of, there's been some sort of illegal when it comes to corporate, when it comes to company law.
Or they're pedos.
Something that excludes them from being
anyone taking one for the team. Can I dress up as a child? No, so bad. Oh, funny. Oh god, yeah. No, I agree with you. It's not going to happen for a long time.
It's not a traditional ownership structure there.
No, and that's why there's so much of a mess. There's no cohesion between anybody. So if you expect it to be at the club, and it's not even at the people that own the club, there's no cohesion. So what do you expect?
Yeah, because I don't know if you know how company law works. No. Because essentially Manchester United is now its own individual entity now.
Right.
As a company. Right. So the Glazers, effectively, if that company goes, if Manchester United goes under, the Glazers aren't responsible for that.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
Because the company is its own entity.
Yeah. I remember at the time there was uproar about it because they're just taking their liability out of it.
Yeah.
And just taking money out of it with dividends and that sort of thing.
Yes.
Funny enough about the Chelsea takeover, Abramovich has had it in the contract that they can't take any dividends out for 10 years. Smart. That just shows you, even though I kind of feel sorry.
And he's also, I know, he's also put into that sale contract that whoever purchases the club has to invest in the women's team, the stadium,
everything, like what he was doing, basically, just carrying on the mantra. Yeah, which I think is fabulous. Now, if you say what you want about his heritage and what he got his money from, but for Chelsea, looking at it just as a Chelsea thing, we're not looking at the war. War's horrible. Yes, agreed. But looking at it from just a footballing perspective, that's pretty cool for, under the circumstances for him to do that. He actually cares about the club.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So hopefully he starts to care about people and stop Putin from doing this nonsense. He has more sway than someone else. But the problem is if he goes back to Russia, and if you stand up too much, you randomly become poisoned, don't you? So what a world we live in.
It's almost so they have an endless supply of
poison
in that country.
I mean, they do enjoy it. It's their favourite method, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should we lighten up the podcast? I just wanted to show you this meme.
What's this?
Stevie Wonder taking a picture with a camera.
Is it?
He isn't blind, is he? He's not blind. How can he be blind?
Unless
what?
he's not completely blind and he has to, put the camera right up to his eyes.
How does he know how to put it up? How does he know the camera's the right way up? How do you know what even a camera is? The cameras were not like that. He's been blind all his life.
That's very true. That's very true. That's very true.
The rumor is that it's a gimmick to get him popular. We know the joke. Steve Wonder is always there.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
Yeah. I mean, I do like those Stevie Wonder jokes. I have to admit. I remember driving down the motorway we were actually coming back from the airport, myself and Mrs. Cheese Addict.
Yes,
coming back from Heathrow Airport, and there was a van that was driving up as well. It overtook us, and it was quite a dirty van, quite a filthy, very really needed to have a good wash. And on the back of it, somebody wrote "Cleaned by Stevie Wonder." And sort of with
that gimmick works.
Yeah.
We still talk about him.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of can when you see stuff like this, and you hear stories from Shaq saying that they lived in this shared apartment complex in LA. Those posh places.
Yes.
They've got their own security and all that.
Gated.
Yes. And whatever.
Yes.
And they got into the lift together.
Mm.
And Shaq's already in the lift, and Stevie walks in, does the braille thing of touching which number it is, and then he goes, "All right, Shaq," and Shaq goes, "What?" He dumbfounded, didn't say anything back, and he got off out of the lift, and he's dumbfounded, going, "He's not blind, is he?"
Well, I mean, there's explanations for that.
How?
Well, they do say that when you lose one of your senses, your other senses become more heightened.
Smelling?
It's possible, but we each have our own
sort
of natural sense, don't we? We each have our own sort of natural.
Unless
think of it.
he's blind and he can see outlines, maybe, and he just sees an outline of a big guy.
Think about it like this: when you've been at home and somebody, a family friend comes to visit, and you don't know who's come. But you've been upstairs because you've been too busy to go downstairs. You've been upstairs working. You've been too busy to go downstairs.
Right.
They've been and gone. You don't know who it is, but you go downstairs. You find that scent, and you instantly know who it is, who's come. I've sort of
depends if they smoke. If they smoke, yes, but other than that, no, not really.
Really?
Yeah.
I know instantly. There's,
maybe I've just got a poor sense of smell. No, not really.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's mad. Smoking, yeah. When someone smokes, I can tell.
Yeah.
I know exactly who it is, which uncle it is. So yeah, that's weird. Oh, nice. Should we end this episode with? Have we got any more memes to show?
We're not going to talk about.
Oh, Dave Chappelle! I forgot. Yes. Oh yeah, Dave Chappelle. I was going to quickly just show you.
How many children
Dave
do you
Chappelle
have?
taking one in the chops.
84. Congratulations.
70 wife.
17 wives.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wives.
There you go. Yes, now Dave Chappelle. Sorry about that.
Dave Chappelle taking one in the chops.
Well, this is the issue now with comedy. But that guy, I don't know if you saw how battered he got. Broke his arm. His arm was like that.
I did notice that.
It was grim, but good. If you're going to go on stage, that's what should have happened to Will Smith. Don't go up on stage.
I did, talking about Will Smith, I did like, because Chris Rock was there as well, wasn't it?
And he came running on.
Was that Will Smith?
Because Will Smith, what a great moment.
Brilliant.
And then
Brilliant.
Jamie Foxx got on the stage because obviously the ruckus happened.
Yeah.
And then Dave Chappelle, who was calm, who didn't really get taken down, just shrugged it to the side. He got on the mic and goes, "Oh, you know it's bad when Jamie Foxx in a cowboy hat came on stage," basically referring to Django Unchained.
Yeah,
that's a great little joke. And then
I love that film, by the way.
Yes. But yeah, just the guy apparently had a knife on him or something shaped like a knife.
Right.
That could have easily been pursued. But my thing is, if you're going to be put into a festival, is there no security? Checking out
There's
weapons.
there's a very, very
A
good
gun
question.
shaped like a sword. I don't understand what it was. But
How on earth did he get to
why?
that?
How did he get that in?
How did he get that in? How did he manage to get that close?
Well, the guy apparently was followed on Instagram by Dave Chappelle.
Right.
And was a Chappelle fan. But now he's saying trans rights. So I think it's some mental episode, obviously, for someone to do something that crazy. But I saw someone say, good joke, Chris Rock can't do anything without Dave Chappelle stealing his thunder. 1 month! That's all it was! And then I saw some other conspiracy going, look, the Will Smith thing, he's part of the Illuminati. He needed it to die down. So they did this to Dave Chappelle, who's outwardly talked about these cults. They've done this to him, so it takes the heat off Will Smith and Chris Rock. No one's talking about that, but everyone is. I'm like, bloody hell, people, get off the internet.
Yes.
For one day. Give it a rest.
Yeah, stop watching Perez Hilton, I think.
Oh, Paris Hilton, he's not a conspiracy theorist, is he? He's just TMZ, isn't he?
TMZ is a twat.
Yeah. Does he even exist still? You mentioned him twice in this podcast. I haven't heard that name in Young's.
I think it does still exist. I think he's desperately clinging on to relevancy.
Oh, right. He is like just a celebrity.
A pillock.
Yeah, he's a pillock.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a pillock. But did he appear on Celebrity Big Brother in the UK?
I mean, that shows how far he's fallen, really.
No, that was during his prime.
Was it?
Yeah. Not prime, as in when he was talking to the...
He's still a pillock, isn't he?
The thing is, those celebs are calling him to do these photos.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see what I
true,
mean? It's
true.
just
Yeah,
nonsense.
it keeps those celebs in the papers as
Perhaps.
well. Doesn't it? Yeah,
It goes both ways.
No, yeah, no, absolutely.
The paps that hound celebrities, they get caught out in court. They get taken, like Hugh Grant got one, Sienna Miller got one in the UK, because the UK press can be outrageous.
See you next Tuesday.
Look what they did to Caroline Flack. And then try and act like, oh, sorry, what the hell? They killed Caroline Flack. Let's not get over that. That's awful. There you go. British press, they've got no.
There's an argument that she was a bit of an abuser, apparently.
But we don't know that. Apparently, it's all hearsay. We don't know in a relationship what it was. Yes, they could have had a fight.
Not just that. I'm talking about previous relationships that she's had. Guys have come forward and have said that.
Well, if that's the case, maybe she'd had to get some help.
I'm not saying that it's a justification for the British press to hound her into an early grave. I'm not saying that.
The stuff that they wrote about her were awful. They don't think about what the actual person is going through. And that's the problem with the British press. They're not normal. Like the US press, I think, are not as bad as the UK press.
Do you think that she should have been charged with?
I don't know enough. I don't know enough about it.
Because we have to remember that the British legal system works, particularly criminal, works differently to the system in the US. Where in the US, you as the victim, you can say, "Oh yeah, I'd like to press charges." In the UK, it doesn't work like that. In criminal law, because in criminal law, it's the Crown that bring the case up against the defendant. So the victim effectively has no.
Well, maybe he didn't want to press charge. Maybe he's just like, I don't want to.
He said, well, he doesn't have the right to say no. I don't want to press charges in British law.
No, maybe he just played it down. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, he played it down, and he said, I didn't want them to press charges, but he, in effect, even as the victim, he has no right to say, because if
I don't know, we don't know what the story is, and I don't understand these character things coming out. I don't believe it until there was no audio of her shouting, like recordings like we're seeing with Johnny Depp, and unless you hear it yourself, that's the unfortunate thing.
Things like that maybe would have come out, during the case, but during the hearing, all the different bits of evidence would probably have come out. Who knows? But if there was enough there for the Crown Prosecution Service to say yes, we're charging her, then because the CPS doesn't do that unless there's a reasonable prospect of conviction.
Right.
There's no point in wasting anybody's time because it costs a shitload of money
Yeah, maybe she had some mental issues or whatever, but they could have been addressed. But
in terms of the press,
why does she have nobody around her, like a family or anything?
In terms of the press in this country, and let's not forget, in terms of the right wing press, the likes of the Sun, the likes of the Daily Star.
Mirror.
No, well, the Mirror is essentially left.
Yeah, but it's not, is it? It's not, though, is it? Look
I mean, it's a tabloid.
Yes.
It's a tabloid, yes.
They're all right-ish.
It's a tabloid, yes, but it's more sort of left-leaning. But it is a tabloid. I'll give you that. But I'm talking about the Sun, the Daily Mail.
There's a Sun in the Daily Mail.
The Sun. The Sun isn't fit to wipe your ass on after you've had a diarrhea shit.
Are they owned by the same? Are they owned by Murdoch?
I'm not quite sure.
The Sun is. I'm not sure about the Daily Mail.
No, the Daily Mail is owned by some other cunt.
Right.
Sorry.
I thought the
I don't know if
Mirror
can I say that word?
Yeah, you can. You can say it.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, YouTube.
Cunt. No, yeah, it's no. My original point was it could have been avoided. That's what I'm trying to say.
No,
and the press didn't really help by adding their source into it.
Which in effect they really shouldn't, because if there's a hearing that's going to be taking place, they really shouldn't be doing that.
And they always have that on page 16, that rubbish apology.
Yeah.
Look what they did to Cliff Richard. Look what they did to all the other, people that get wrongly accused. Innocent until proven guilty has just gone out the window. Yeah,
they really shouldn't be doing that, because if there's going to be a criminal hearing, then it risks prejudicing the case. So they really shouldn't be doing. That's very naughty of them.
But then when you hear stories like I mentioned the Cliff Richard thing, when you hear the Beeb or the press talking with police and the police releasing the info, that's I feel sorry for Cliff Richard. You can tell he's innocent as anything.
Yeah, things like that are absolutely.
It's diabolical, and you can see there is something going on.
Yeah, things like that are absolutely awful. And
money, quick buck.
Yeah, and the more things like that happen, the less faith people will have in the law in this country, the people who are supposed to uphold the law, the police service, the Crown Prosecution Service, the judiciary.
Yeah,
the less people will have faith in that,
and the audience have to think these tabloids are trying to sell you stories so they can sell their papers in a dying art form. Nobody's buying papers like they used to back in the day.
So there's an element of desperation. From the papers.
So they will do anything to get those papers up. I say print media will slowly.
People need to think more when it comes to newspapers.
And I think they're trying to go online, aren't they, with these subscription systems? But nobody wants to read it. You just go on Twitter.
Yeah,
get it for free. Why would you want to, or go on whatever source you want? They're slowly. I think print work tabloids are going to slowly die, but unless they have help from the government and they have unhealthy relationships with the government.
Yeah, I think there's still a place for journalism. I think, but there has to be integrity.
Yeah, I think it's swinging the other way slowly.
Yeah, and I think once there's integrity in journalism again, and it's seen as a valued profession, something to hold up in esteem. I think that's when it, things like newspapers may become relevant again. News sources may become relevant again.
I think it's becoming a dangerous line between journalism and punditry.
Yes.
And what you see with Piers Morgan is that line. Do you see what I mean? It's like opinions rather than fact.
Yeah.
You should be providing us with facts, not your opinion on this situation. Couldn't give a shit.
But then does that hark back to what society values now?
That's the problem. Because we've got used to certain things.
And particularly in the UK, I've said it before. In the UK, we have too much of an infatuation with celebrity.
But that's following America. America started it.
Absolutely.
It's reality shows.
But it's the reason why the likes of Piers Morgan have become popular.
Because those punditry, Fox News obviously started that sort of thing, and then when you see reality shows, and it's just a culmination of those both those things of people wanting realism and opinions, and how thick can you be not to realise what an opinion is and what is a fact? But
when I say that to people, that this country has far too much of an infatuation, and we hold, celebrity, the idea of celebrity status so high in society. Yeah. We have too much of an infatuation with it, and when people start to argue against that with me, I just say one name: Jimmy Savile.
That's true.
This guy completely sort of had completely unqualified to do it, but because of his celebrity status, he was actually put in charge of a fucking mental hospital, Broadmoor.
With kids.
He was the one calling the shots there.
I saw a clip yesterday talking of that. I saw a clip from Louis Theroux documentary where they went in Leeds to a restaurant. And he was just overly touchy-feely with this young girl who was trying to get away, but he knew the mother and the daughter, and he was just overly too close, trying to. And you can see that's the thing. He's trying to normalise that touching.
Yeah.
So then when he does it next, it's just him.
Yes.
And then he just takes it further and further and further.
Yeah.
And you see it. It's predatory. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Normal blokes don't act like that.
Yeah. And I've seen clips of when, even, sort of in the 2000s, when he was a guest on Have I Got News for You? Yeah. And he said he was feared in every girls' school in the country. And Diane Abbott was on the other, I think she was, her playing partner was Paul Merton. And you just saw the look on her face. But it became accepted because it's just Jimmy Savile. It's Jimmy Savile.
Like nobody would do anything because they were too scared because of his power, as in Margaret Thatcher.
And he knew it.
Margaret Thatcher, you could get away with it because she would have him round for Christmas every year and let him get away with it. Yeah. But then you wonder what
Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh.
What cults are there? It is a cult, unfortunately. These little groups who share these disgusting things. Stuart Hall, he's behind bars.
Yeah,
is he alive still?
I don't know.
Sure.
Ralph Harris.
That was a good joke there. I missed it. Rolf Harris was a weird case if you look at it from the outside. It's just a weird case because of what he got prosecuted. He's made he did wrong, yes, but it's not as bad as what they didn't actually go and do the deed like Stuart Hall and whatchamacallit.
What's his face? The that celebrity publicist. What was his?
Oh, Max Clifford.
Max Clifford. He's brown bread now, isn't he? I think.
He's dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brown bread. Ground bread. Yeah. Well, what a nice way to end the podcast on paedophiles.
Yeah.
But no. What a shambles. What a shambles. But yeah. We will end this podcast episode on that wonderful somber note.
Yeah, I have to admit I do like it when we ad lib things when we don't actually. I mean, I'm sure you've got topics there on your laptop.
No.
But we've ad libbed a lot of it, and I like that because the conversation feels more natural and it flows. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to end it.
Well, you can take me and my turban to the Kathmandu. Chew my chapati, eat my vindaloo. But when I see you walk, 'cause I'm my fingers and thumbs, so get your guns off my papadums, yeah. Go ahead, funk a wall and make them my day.
Watch this.
Two tasty flavors will blow you away. They rattle and roll all over your tongue, so get your guns off my papadums.
And I'm pretty sure the person who they've got to play that part isn't they're not an Asian person, are they?
Probably not.
Been sort of browned up.
It looked it because Chris saw it from Leicester.
Put a bit of gravy
there's
browning.
There's going to be a bunch of Indian people in Leicester.
Douse him in some gravy browning, and so he looks the part.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was a great way to end the podcast. I loved it. I mean, that Indian Elvis, fantastic. How can you not be better?
You know what? It still goes on even now. We talk about that from 34 years ago.
Oh yeah.
If you go on TikTok. I'll say it now. If you go on TikTok, there's a guy on TikTok called, I think he's called the Yorkshire Indian.
Right.
And when I first came across the account, I thought it was a genuinely a Punjabi guy.
No, it's just a white guy doing the voice.
It's a white guy doing the voice.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, okay.
Very uncomfortable. As soon as I found out, because I sent you a video of it, of one of his, and I genuinely thought it was an Indian guy, but it's not.
No. It's.
You see, British people,
they just let it get. They don't understand.
They think it's just a joke.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not, and it's not.
It's stemmed in racism and
superiority, thinking that you can mock.
Mate, most of your things that you need in the UK are based through Indians. Your doctors, your food.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you want to take the piss? Carry on. I mean.
But, you know, people, a lot of British people, they don't realise when they talk about British food.
Tea. Tea. What is tea? From Tea Gardens in?
Indian.
All your spices. Indian.
Yeah. The tomato ketchup that you put on your chips is full of spices from Africa, Asia, India. Yeah. Full of spices.
Your national dish, tikka masala, which was invented here though too, technically. It's not even an Indian dish. That's your British. You can keep that one.
Yeah. Fish and chips came to this country. Did you know this?
I did not know this.
Came to this country.
Don't ruin fish and chips for everyone.
Portuguese Jewish fishermen.
Oh, I knew about this. You told me about this.
Brought fish and chips to this country. So if we take away all the food that the British claim to be theirs and boil it down to real, actual, genuine British food, what would it be?
I actually don't know. Roast dinner.
Roast beef or roast boar or something like that, and but
that's most cuisine. It's all like look at New Orleans, look at the French influence.
No, absolutely.
Portuguese influence in Goa.
I don't mind the cuisines are supposed to travel the world, and you take things like that. It's a nice thing. What I don't like is when people do that. But then say, but the people can go piss off back to their own country. Oh, yeah. But we're keeping this.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like.
Yes.
Because if our food is good enough for you, then we're good enough for you.
Yes. Nigel Farage. Right. What a nice way to end the podcast. Hating on everything. I'm sure we'll be back soon next week. You can follow me on Twitter and all social media platforms. At Bobby_Rayman, at Big Brown Hairy for our podcast page, and your page is?
At Cheese Addict 77.
There you go. That's all our socials. Give us a follow, give us a like, comment, whatever. And we'll catch you with you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.